So picture this. You're at a local coffee shop or, maybe a mutual friend's dinner party, and you meet someone.
Oh, the classic meet cute.
Right. And the conversation just flows effortlessly, like the chemistry is completely off the charts.
Yeah.
You find out you both obsess over the exact same, like, obscure indie movies. You both love hiking early on Sunday mornings. And you even have the exact same bizarre, highly specific coffee order.
Sounds too good to be true.
It feels completely perfect, like something scripted right out of a rom-com.
Yeah.
But, is it? Because today, we're looking at why sharing the exact same coffee order and loving the same indie movies is actually a terrible predictor of whether your relationship will survive.
It's so true, though. We are so deeply conditioned by pop culture to believe that those initial sparks, those overlapping hobbies and effortless early conversations, that those are the definitive signs that you have found your person.
Right, the whole soulmate narrative.
Exactly.
Right.
We constantly look for mirrors of ourselves. But time and time again, behavioral science and relationship psychology show us that those shared interests are, well, they're just the opening act.
Yeah.
They get you in the door, sure, but they do absolutely nothing to keep the house standing.
Which is exactly why today's deep dive is taking a totally different approach to compatibility. We're pulling from this remarkably insightful guide published by Weddizer. It's titled Defining Personal Values for Romantic Relationships.
It's a great piece.
It really is. And our mission for you today is to explore why attraction and shared interests, as fun and intoxicating as they are, simply cannot sustain a partnership over the long haul.
No, they really can't.
We are going to look at how clearly defining your personal values is the ultimate shortcut to building unbreakable trust, deep compatibility, and actual long-term happiness.
Because the premise of the Weddizer approach is incredibly grounding. It acknowledges this fundamental truth: chemistry and attraction are just the magnets that bring two people together.
It's just the magnets.
Right. But shared values dictate whether that relationship will actually survive the inevitable friction of life. Chemistry sparks the fire, but values are the architecture of the fireplace that keeps that fire from, burning the entire house down.
Wow, burning the house down. That's a powerful way to put it.
Well, it's true. Those core values influence the mechanics of everything in a shared life, like how you communicate during a crisis or how you handle a sudden job loss.
Oh, parenting, right?
Exactly. The philosophy you use to raise children and just generally how you maintain emotional intimacy over decades of change.
So if we go back to that dinner party and we meet this seemingly perfect person, the instinct is to immediately start analyzing them, right? Like, are they into me? Do they want the same things? But this approach suggests we actually have to hit pause on the other person completely.
Full stop.
Yeah.
Wow.
We spend so much time analyzing this new potential partner that we completely forget to look in the mirror. You can't possibly evaluate someone else's fit if you don't even have a baseline for yourself.
You absolutely have to look inward before you can effectively look outward. The whole process begins with a rigorous self-audit.
A self-audit?
Yeah, it is fundamentally about self-awareness. You need to ask yourself some fairly profound questions before you can expect another human being to align with the trajectory of your life.
Right.
And, these questions require total honesty.
So what kind of questions are we talking about here? Because usually when people think about what they want, they just list, like, physical traits or career status.
Sure, the superficial stuff. But the guide pushes you past those superficial markers. It asks you to define your internal compass. Like, what qualities do you genuinely admire most in another human being? What behaviors are absolutely non-negotiably unacceptable to you? How do you actually define the word commitment?
Well, that's a big one.
It is. Is it simply physical fidelity, or does it mean emotional transparency? How important are family traditions to you? What role does your career play in your life versus your personal time? And perhaps most importantly, how do you personally define success and happiness?
Wait, hold on. I have to play devil's advocate for a second here on behalf of anyone listening who leans toward being a hopeless romantic.
Okay, go for it.
Sitting down with a notebook and interrogating yourself with these massive, heavy life questions before you even go on a second date.
Yeah.
Trying to date without knowing your values is like trying to build a house without checking if the soil is stable. I get that. But doesn't this feel incredibly clinical? Are we drafting a corporate mission statement, or are we falling in love here?
I get that a lot. It does sound methodical when you list it out like that. But The perspective shift here is that it's not about stripping the romance away. It's about replacing underlying uncertainty with genuine confidence.
Okay, how so?
Well, think about the psychology of dating without self-awareness. You enter relationships constantly second-guessing yourself.
Oh, totally.
You chameleon your way through the early months, right? Molding your personality to fit whatever you think the other person wants. You abandon your own needs because you don't even clearly know what they are.
You're just hoping it works out based on vibes.
Yes, just purely running on vibes. But when you actively know your core values, you enter the dating pool with clarity. You aren't desperately hoping the illusion holds up.
That makes sense.
That internal confidence actually allows for far more genuine romance because you aren't terrified that a single disagreement or a misaligned opinion is going to, completely shatter the relationship. You know what your foundation is made of.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because once we do have that self-knowledge, there is a massive trap waiting for us.
Ah, the biggest trap.
It's the great divide between what we like and what we value. Confusing the two of these is probably the #1 reason couples wake up 3 years into a relationship wondering what on earth happened to their connection.
What's fascinating here is how universally people conflate the two, and how destructive it is when they do. A preference is superficial. It is a surface-level desire.
Right.
But a value is structural. It is a deeply held belief that dictates your behavior. If you want to know why a relationship is failing, you usually have to look at how a couple is mixing these two categories up.
So to put some concrete examples to that, preferences are things like your favorite hobbies, your food choices, your music tastes, your travel styles.
Yeah, exactly.
If you love spending a week lounging at a luxury resort and your partner wants to backpack through the mud in the woods, that's a preference.
Right. And on the other side of the divide, we have values. These are the foundational pillars, things like integrity, faith, financial responsibility, honesty.
The heavy hitters.
Yeah, your parenting philosophy, respect, commitment, your personal boundaries.
So to put it in a really practical way, preferences are the playlist you listen to on a road trip. Values are the engine of the car.
Oh, I love that analogy.
Right. If you and your partner want to listen to wildly different music, that is completely fine. The source even points out that differences in preferences usually strengthen a relationship by bringing a variety of new experiences.
Exactly.
But if you have two steering wheels pointing in opposite directions, or one person is pressing the gas while the other slams the brakes, the car's going to crash.
That analogy perfectly captures the mechanism at play.
Yeah.
And it highlights a really tragic pattern in human behavior, actually.
What's that?
Well, people will sit in couples therapy, or they'll agonize to their friends over a glass of wine, genuinely believing they're completely incompatible with their partner because one loves going out to crowded bars on weekends and the other prefers staying in to read.
Right. They fixate on the playlist.
They fixate entirely on the playlist. Meanwhile, they are completely ignoring the fact that they have wildly different definitions of financial responsibility.
Because money is just a practical thing in their minds, not a reflection of a core belief.
But it is a core belief. Imagine one person views money primarily as a tool for security and future stability, and their partner views money entirely as a tool for immediate enjoyment and experiencing life today.
That sounds stressful.
That is not a difference in preference. That is a fundamental value misalignment. Every single time they make a purchase, book a trip, or look at a bank statement, those two opposing worldviews are going to collide, breeding resentment over time.
That distinction changes everything. So what does this all mean when we get down to the specifics? Now that we know we need to be looking at the engine, not the playlist, we need to examine the specific values that actually drive a successful partnership forward.
Yes, let's look at the engine.
The Weddizer Guide identifies a set of essential values that are proven to strengthen relationships. We can call them the Big Seven.
The Big Seven. And what is most helpful here is looking at how these function practically, like how they operate as mechanisms within a partnership rather than just abstract concepts. The first two actually function in tandem: honesty and trust.
With honesty being the immediate action.
Right. Exactly.
It's about transparency.